Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I'm driving this. This is the 2008 Maruti Swift, the Maruti Suzuki Swift LXI, and this happens to be a petrol model because LXI तो पेट्रोल ही होती थी. क्या बात करो, डीजल तब आती भी नहीं थी, आती थी actually 2007 से. Let's quickly open the engine bay of this vehicle, which is challenging. Oh my god, when Maruti used to make really heavy hoods, it's so heavy and tight that it's like hydraulic struts right there. What an unbelievable feature. There it says Suzuki 16 valve, and of course lot of trees have spent time there near the wipers. Of course there's insulation there. We're going to shut this for a moment. Now because this is the LXI, it was devoid of any feature whatsoever, but you know, the design was actually nice, and this car has actually stood the test of times. So yeah, everything is like halogen. Of course towing hook has come out, है मतलब वो उसका आगे वाला slot चला गया है, and then very sporty looking car. The latest model is obviously an evolution. Tire size was really small, 165 80 14 80 profile, but still the ride was kind of on the bad side because of the stiffness, of course. And then everything is kind of black, door handles. In fact, it did not even get, I think, a left side mirror. Probably it did. I don't know, I don't care. Let's open the boot, of course, and oh my god, I think the car will lift along with it. I actually opened the boot, but वो बंद कैसे होगी पता नहीं. तो चलो यहाँ पे जाके खोल देते हैं वापस. From here you open the boot. Maybe when you close the door it shuts. So here we are. The boot was decent in terms of size. Spare wheel is obviously not an alloy. It's because regular wheels are not an alloy, and the owner has not even like decided to put wheel caps. Owner happens to be Nikhil. Thank you so much for lending me your wardrobe right now, because I can see a lot of clothes here. And this thing goes down 60, not 60 40, 100 0 split straight away. No headrest at the rear because rear passengers never had a head. And power windows have been actually added. This car did not come with power windows, so all the power windows have been added. There's a button for the alarm. This is a headlight leveler. Seats were decently comfortable. Dashboard actually still looks quite nice. I like it. In fact, I remember there's a slot for the clock, and the cost of that clock was 550 rupees because I had put it in my Swift. Of course, plenty of hard plastics. Glove box is decent size. Round vents on the side. Internally adjustable mirrors, of course, and this car has plenty of headroom. Yeah, there is good amount of headroom on offer here. Cluster is kind of basic because LXI did not get a tachometer, but speedometer on the center, fuel meter on the right, and a temperature meter on the left. And the odometer is very basic because I mean, odometer has to be basic, but twin trip meters are there. That's about it. And then you can increase or decrease the intensity of the cluster's light at night. The horn, it's actually loud enough, which is kind of nice. This is obviously for the indicators, which is going to shut the hazard light. Audio system slot was there. You can add one of your own. There's some storage space here. Now audio quality, nobody really cares about it. Air conditioning control, there's some storage space here. Twin cup holders here. Cigarette lighter has been added aftermarket. So kind of plain and basic. Steering does not move at all. And let's use the wipers. Decent amount of spare on offer for a car this old. It's actually in quite a good condition, like really impressive. Door pockets are really small, like you can put an A4 size paper if you so wish. And at the rear, well, there are no door pockets at all. But you know, we should just start driving this car because it's all about the driving experience of this beast. Makes quite the sound when you turn it on. Clutch is kind of gone, so I have to be careful with that so that I don't stall it and make myself look like a big fool. Anyways, there is no low end grunt in this car. There's a story for that, okay? The whole Swift program went through lots of ups and downs, and then when they were actually deciding to launch it in India, then they thought it's not going to sell because who's going to buy a premium hatchback sort of a thingy. Plus it was a very radical design, very like sporty and stuff like that, and obviously even Indian engineers were involved in this first project, in which Maruti engineers were involved in developing a car with Suzuki. Anyways, hazard lights on, into first gear, revving the motor, and off we go. It goes all over the place because that's the character of this engine, which doesn't have a low end grunt, but as you keep pulling the motor, the better it gets, the response improves, and then the red line comes in around 6,500 RPM. Now this being the base variant doesn't have a tachometer, but the horn is so bad it's like it's ringing from my pants. Anyways, the point is that this car did not have a tachometer, the lower variant, but I know that the red line comes around 6,500 RPM. I had a Swift as well, but that was a diesel, but same first generation model. Now this is the G13BB engine, which was the same one which powered the S-Team as well. Now I'll tell you the whole thing, which I was telling you the story about how this car came into play. So they decided that they will launch this car because the Honda City was selling well, and they just slotted below the City. That time the City used to come with a VTEC engine and a regular 1.3 litre IDSI motor, which was hopeless, and I had that car. So I'm not proud to tell that. Anyways, so that engine, the G13BB engine, was sort of a drinker, but when compared to the other car in the segment with which it was competing, happened to be the Hyundai Getz. This engine was much more frugal, And to make it more frugal, what Maruti actually did was they reduced the fueling lower down and geared it like crazy tall. In fact, it goes to 100 in second gear itself, and then it will go past 150 kilometers per hour in third gear itself. That's the level of tall gearing in this car. So because they reduced the fuel flow lower down the rev range, lower end performance is very poor. It doesn't really move as such, but the handling was absolutely crazy awesome. Suspension is stiff, the springs are stiff, the dampers, everything is on the stiffer side. The result was it had this sort of a go-kart feel, and you can call it like a Maruti Mini in the way it used to drive, or rather it drives very stiff but very much fun. Steering is also so good here, unlike that one which has some body kit and big wheels but doesn't really drive as well. Okay, some vibrations you can feel when you are idling the car, and then in the city you had to keep the revs up to get moving quickly or keep a gear lower down, because otherwise it did not have that low end grunt somehow. Steering is on the heavier side for what is a hatchback, but you know, get through a corner and you would absolutely love this car. See, first gear almost 50-55 kilometers per hour. Into second, it easily crosses 100 kilometers per hour. That is the way it performs. Absolutely bonkers. Yeah, 105 or something you can see on the meter, and then it bangs through the red line. That was the amazing feel of this engine, the G13B, because the character is just amazing. In fact, I remember in the S-Team, I also had an S-Team, wherein it used to do 160 kilometers per hour in third gear, and then in fourth 165, and in fifth it would just finish at 165 only. So that was the level of tall gearing in the interest of fuel efficiency, of course, and this used to have done much better fuel efficiency, say, than the Hyundai gets, which did not receive a fantastic response, but yeah, decent enough response. Ride quality is pretty bad because everything is so stiff now, so it's not very comfortable, and plus this car was prone to a lot of rattles, at least the one which I had, the diesel one. Crazy amount of rattles. Over bad bumps you could hear everything vibrate as such. Obviously the diesel was slightly stiffer, but yeah, the stiffness made it such a joy. Then they actually plonked in a new engine, the K12M, which is the 1.2 litre engine. This is the 1.3 litre engine. They did it because they had to comply with BS4 emission norms at that time, and that engine dulled the whole thing, because first and foremost it was smoother, it was more refined, but most importantly with that engine, the big change that happened, okay, we're going to stop here on the left, the big change that happened was they actually softened the suspension and everything, because they're like, oh, it needs to be more comfortable, kind of killing the fun factor of the Swift to a great extent. And they did with the diesel also later on with the second generation model by making everything very linear. Anyways, into first gear, revving the motor. The person who owns the car is looking behind. He's going to kill me any moment for driving the wheels off. But the gearbox is so slick shifting. Although the clutch is gone at the moment, but the clutch is decently weighed. It's not very heavy as such. It's not even feather light. But yeah, gets the job done. The gearbox is actually very smooth. And then the handling character of a Swift is just mind-blowing. It is so eager. It doesn't have the understeer. This was a hatchback which actually had a oversteer character. If you take it very fast and then through a corner, it would little bit slidey. In fact, I remember I was underage when this car was launched, 2005. So I did not have a license. My brother drove it and I was sitting in the car, and I just enjoyed that moment so much. I still remember it was sort of a golden colored car which had come. It was a ZXi. There was no plus or anything of that sort at that moment. Braking performance is also nice. Like, this car doesn't have ABS, but when the Swift was launched, it had features unseen in a Maruti car. Dual airbags, ABS, a nice audio system, and the likes. And alloy wheels as well, 14-inch tires though. But whatever said and done for a car which is almost 14 years old, Nikhil has done a fantastic job, because I don't feel that the car is aged that badly. It doesn't feel that aged, so very well maintained. It's not done much. It's like done 63,000 kilometers, which in approximately 13 years is equivalent to hardly any running every year, which means that either Nikhil doesn't drive it much, or he knows how to reset the meter. If he knows the latter, please let me know also. I'll also do it on certain cars. Jokes aside, I love the way the steering is so responsive. This is such a hoot to drive. It's so much fun as well. In fact, I remember like when I used to drive this car later on, I used to pull the handbrake and then used to go like this, which you will try right now. No, we will not. Okay, on these bumps you can, okay, you hear this, okay, over bad roads you can feel everything. And then, you know, this car got intimate with some other car and then had a bigger version of it known as the Desire. Jokes aside, it was not a joke, but that was a fact. Engine seems refined low down, like you can not hear anything when you're crawling, but it becomes very vocal. It has a typical power delivery. The more you rev it, the more it responds and the more it becomes vocal. So that was the fun factor, and price was I think between 4 to 6 lakh rupees. There were 3 variants, LXi, VXi and ZXi. ZXi Plus did not come at that moment, and diesel came in 2007 I think, although diesel was planned from day one, but the multi-jet diesel engine, but they launched it much later. And this is the end of the vlog. Such a fun car. It brings back so many memories. In fact, you know what, NCAP rating was also very high, which we shall try right now. So there's a Corolla parked here. We're going to go into it at around 60 kilometers per hour. That's good. Bye.